Will I do it or am I going to do it? Which one should I use? Today we're going to discover how to use both. In English, the words we use to express the future tell a lot about how sure we are of those events happening. In formal situations, you should always use will. Going to is just too informal, too casual. You might be at a conference and you hear an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference will start in 15 minutes. When the prince arrives, he will greet the people and then he will give a speech. Okay, so if it's formal, use will. Now for the differences between will and going to. Decisions. Use will for decisions made at the moment of speaking. The phone rings, ring, ring, ring. I'll get it. It's an immediate decision, no planning. Or to order in a restaurant. I'll have the chicken salad, please. Use going to for an intention or decision that was made before the moment of speaking. I need to point out that these don't need to be very firm plans. I'm going to meet my friends for drinks tonight. We're just going to chill out and watch TV on Saturday. That's what we intend to do, but it might not be a firm plan. It might not happen. You can use will and going to for predictions. Use will to predict the present and the future when the prediction is based on personal opinion or experience. So an example for the present, you can try to call him, but he won't be home. So I may have tried to call this fellow yesterday at this time and he wasn't home. So that's my experience and what I believe. So I predict using will or won't. An example for the future. I think we'll win the World Cup this year. It's just your opinion, so you might say I think or I hope before it, just to show people that it is only an opinion. Use going to for a prediction that is based on present evidence. For example, you're watching a football match and the score is in your team's favour, say 5-1. You could then say, we're gonna win! There is evidence of it, so you can confidently make this prediction. Notice how I said gonna, not going to. In fast, natural speech, going to is normally shortened and joined together to make gonna. When we make predictions about the weather, it's fine to use either one. If it is just my opinion and I don't have any evidence to support my opinion, then I would use will. For example, I think it will snow this winter. It's my opinion. Some years it does snow in the UK and other years it doesn't. It's anyone's guess. But using going to suggests that there is evidence for your prediction, like we talked about before. For example, there are dark clouds outside. I think it's going to rain. However, the weather forecast on the TV or radio is formal, so they always use will. We've already talked about how will is used for decisions made in the moment. Now I want to go into a bit more detail about 5 specific situations where you would use will. In most of these cases, the decision is made spontaneously, but one of my examples can be very well planned. See if you can spot which one. Use will for an offer of help. I'll help you to carry that table. We'll drive you to the airport. Use will for a promise. I will call you later, I promise. I'll play tennis with you this afternoon. Use will for a refusal or even just to talk about a refusal. Use the negative will not or its contracted form won't. No, I won't have a drink, thanks. My children won't clean their bedrooms. That's talking about a refusal. Use will for a request, asking for something, or for a command. Will you marry me? Will you pick up my prescription tomorrow? You will clean your bedroom now. Oh dear, that's my scary mum voice. Use will for a threat. If you don't stop complaining, I'll take you home. Leave me alone or I will call the police. Did you spot the one that was planned? Yes, it was, will you marry me? Sometimes it is asked at the moment of decision, but these days usually not. But it is meant to look spontaneous. And a proposal is quite a formal thing to do, so it's also covered by the rule of formality. And while we're talking about exceptions, I just want to point out that the verb be is an exception with will. You can use will be for a very firm plan. In this case, you are not speaking spontaneously. For example, I will be on a plane at this time tomorrow. The meeting will be at 2 p.m. Don't be late. We will be away for the next 3 weeks. So, to summarize, use will for formal situations, for spontaneous decisions, for predictions based on an opinion, for a weather forecast, for an offer, promise, refusal, request or command, or for a threat. And you can use will be for a firm plan. Use going to for an intention or decision made before speaking, and for predictions based on present evidence. So will is the least certain way of talking about the future. Going to sounds more certain to the native speaker, and will be sounds very sure. There are 2 other ways to express the future in English: present continuous and present simple, which I haven't talked about today. They show even greater certainty about an event. But that's all for today. I hope it was helpful. Leave a like and subscribe. Bye.